Isaiah 40, verses 9 to 11. If you're on the green side, you're saying the words in green. If you're on the red side, you're saying the words in red. I really can't make it any simpler for you. So, over here. Climb a high mountain, Zion. You're the preacher of good news. Raise your voice. Make it good and loud, Jerusalem. You're the preacher of good news. Speak loud and clear. Don't be timid. Tell the cities of Judah, look, your God. Look at him. God the Master comes in power, ready to go into action. He is going to pay back his enemies and reward those who have loved him. Like a shepherd, he will care for his flock, gathering the lambs in his arms, hugging them as he carries them, leading the nursing ewes to good pasture. So today we're thinking about Advent. It is the time of year where we count down to Christmas. Did anyone open the first window on your Advent calendar this morning? Yeah, Jordan did. Any more takers for an Advent calendar? What did you have behind the first window, Jordan?
So I had a Kit Kat one, and I had a bunny.
A little Kit Kat bunny in Jordan's Advent calendar. I had a little chocolate reindeer behind mine. Anyone else want to admit what they've had? Anyone got gin? Or Reet's hand went up for the gin. A tiny little biscuit to go with her coffee. She's very happy about that, evidently. Any more Advent calendar? We had lots of Advent calendar joy then, and some people probably have incredibly posh Advent calendars, but you're just not admitting to it. That's fine. When you open the windows on your Advent calendar, you are counting down to Christmas. And I remember one church family a few years ago saying their son reached Christmas quite a lot sooner than everyone else on their Advent calendar. In the church, Advent is the season where we look forward to Jesus' return. And in the Bible, it tells us that he's coming back to judge everyone and bringing God's creation of a new heaven and a new earth. And Christians need to encourage each other to say that Jesus is coming because we live in pretty grim times. Now, you don't need me to tell you this if you've ever switched on the news in the last couple of weeks. Lots of people are really short of money. You can look around the world for poverty, and this week saw the re-release or the new release of the Band-Aid at 40 single, and we can talk about poverty in a lot of countries, but I could walk you to poverty in this country. Harder to be poor in some ways when you're surrounded by people who are wealthy. Surrey is pretty grim to be a poor person. Lots of horrible things are happening in our world. Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, Sudan, Lebanon. Where do you want to start? People are nervous about how the next few years are going to go. Climate change, Donald Trump, all sorts of things. Now, the prophet Isaiah, we just spoke it to each other across the room, calls the church to climb a high mountain and preach good news. Now, in Woking, there aren't high mountains, but I guess you could go up Witch Hill, couldn't you? Stand outside the co-op and preach good news to everyone. I'm not sure that's quite what we're called to do. But you have good things to say to the very many people out there who are fed up and tired of life. The good news is that God the Master comes in power, ready to go into action. That's what we said to each other. He is going to pay back his enemies and reward those who love him. So life may be tough now, the Bible says, but God is going to sort it out. And Isaiah tells us that this isn't going to be a stern ruler throwing lightning bolts from clouds. He'll be a shepherd. He'll care for his flock, gathering the lambs in his arms, hugging them as he carries them, leading the nursing ewes to good pasture. Most of us in Woking have absolutely not the first clue what a shepherd does. We don't see them in the streets of Woking, and you could look out for them till the cows come home, because that's not happening in Woking either. But I'm fortunate because my uncle kept sheep. He was a shepherd, so he told me, he's also a Christian, so he told me what it means to be a shepherd. You are a no-nonsense character if you're a shepherd. You have all these sheep. Sheep have no sense. They wander around, and they don't know what's good for them. So they will wander away, and the shepherd has to go and get them. And if you've seen a shepherd with his sheepdog, the sheepdog is very definite. They take very definite commands, and they will herd up the sheep and come round. So a shepherd is a no-nonsense character who is not going to stand for those sheep just wandering off. He will go and get them. But this shepherd, it's a repeating image in the Bible. We get shepherds again and again in the Bible, and the great King David, of course, was a shepherd. This shepherd knows his sheep by name. He carries up the babies in his arms. He takes care of themselves. So a shepherd looks after his sheep, and his sheep are pretty dim. And can you imagine why that image is used for God's people? Pretty dim and going in every direction other than the one they're supposed to go in. Does that sound familiar? They are pretty terrible at taking care of themselves. God gathers his people up in his arms. He leads the mothers of the babies towards the grass that they need. And in Israel, it's often quite scrubby land, so you need to get to that grass. It's important. He is gentle, but he's powerful. He's in charge, but he doesn't dominate his people. And that is the good news this Advent. God is coming to rescue his people. God is bringing something new. He is not some remote, far-off figure. He gets stuck in to life. In Jesus, he is born to an ordinary working family. He bowls around with his brothers and sisters. He works as a carpenter. He lives a normal life. I love the idea. He could have knocked you up a lovely set of shelves, and you'd have had that. You said, Jesus did those, aren't they nice? So the God we trust isn't far away, and that is the great news of Christmas. It's the great news of God's incarnation among us. He is coming to rescue people. And of course, that's not news for just today. It is good news forever. Advent isn't just about opening windows and getting a little treat, although that is one of the little nice things of Advent in the 21st century. Back in my day, you opened a little window and you were really happy to see a little picture of an angel. Now, it's got to be gin. There we go, that's the 21st century for you. Advent is about light. We're in the darkness. It's the darkest time of year, but we are looking to God's light. It is about looking forward to something bigger and better when Jesus is coming and he's going to sort everything out.